Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Disgialtic Confusion Thursday Night Hangout.
What's up?
Well, that was weird.
I think I'm spent.
Oh, no. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, I am your host, Charlie, and I'm joined once again by the prolific commenter himself, who seems to have already spent all of his energy, Zealeus.
That was a lot of work, man.
I see.
I know. It's rough. Somebody's got to yell, but it's a rough job.
But of course, ladies and gentlemen, this is, of course, the Thursday Night Hangout. It's a live show where we try our best to cover the topics most important to you. If at any point during the show you want to add to the discussion, be it your opinions, or perhaps you have a topic or a subject that you'd like for us to discuss, please drop it in the chat and we will add it to the show. If we unfortunately run out of time during this show, we will add your topic or question to the very next show. So, without further ado, let's get into some of the news.
There's those.
All right, the first thing is, ladies and gentlemen, Alter Confusion has a really good friend who makes really good pencil and paper RPGs. And I keep forgetting to say this, but I just received, maybe a couple weeks ago, the latest iteration. And that, of course, is Code Warriors by Nerdburger Games. So I just want to give a quick shout out to Nerdburger Games and Code Warriors, which I have the book right here. Upgrade your code, avoid deletion, survive the collapse, rebuild your world. Life of the system was simple. Every program had a job, and every job was important, or so it seemed. It was an ordered society that functioned well, or so it seemed. Then the collapse began. The system is breaking down. Chaos reigns. Aberrants abound. The old structures are gone. Everything is falling apart. In some places, literally. Now you, program, can be whomever and whatever you want to be. And that's a good thing because the system needs you. This may be the end. Will you say goodbye, world? Or will you fight for a new one? And I, of course, bought at a higher level, so I got really fancy, I think there's, D8s. And we lost Zealeus again, but that's okay. I got some really fancy D8s. Let's see if I can get one of them out here to show off. Gosh, this thing is really in here. There we go. So here's the fancy D8. I don't know if it's actually going to capture. Oh, yeah, that captures pretty good on the camera. So I've got 6 of those to play with. And it comes in this fancy little tin called Code Warriors 6D8 dice set. So if you want more information about Nerdburger Games, you can, of course, Google it, or you could just go to, I'm going to try to get this up real quick here, Nerdburger Games. I will drop the link in the chat, but literally it is Nerdburger Games, all one word. And you, too, can check out the fun of games like Capers and Mercs and Acquisitions and Good Strong Hands and Code Warriors, Die Laughing. I'm trying to think of what the other ones I've played. No, I think that's it. There's a couple other ones, but I haven't actually played them, so I'm sure they're freaking amazing, and I would love to, play them someday, but I have not played them yet, so I can't really speak up on that as a tour. Okay, since Zealeus seems to have been eaten by the internet gods, I will continue. Ladies and gentlemen, I know we are in the year 2023, and we are capable of seeing and playing amazing video games. But, as many of you have probably noticed, there are video games out there that get killed or canceled every single year. And there's already a list of some games that have already seen the axe. Now, a couple of them are mobile renditions of existing games, which, to be totally honest with you, I kind of understand if you're trying to port a successful PC or console game to a mobile device, how that may not go well. And so companies may want to cut their losses. But still, it does suck when you have the bigger name companies dropping games that maybe some people are really interested in, such as, let me see if I can get this right here. Oh, that's the wrong window. Let's see. There is Apex Legend Mobile. There's also Battlefield Mobile, which of course I'm sure our good friend Sam Grizzle would be possibly into. Although he'd probably just continue to play the way that he wants to play. But there's also like a bunch of Square Enix games, and of course, on this list that I found, they're like, yeah, the Google Stadia and all of their games that were supposed to come out this year. Of course, the Google Stadia is dead. It's been dead since last month. But here's the thing. We are at the start of the year, and I hate to say this, but this kind of news is going to come out all year long. There's going to be games that are going to be canceled. There are going to be games that get delayed, and then there's also that wonderful what do you call it? Designation of delayed indefinitely. They don't want to say that it's been canceled, but they're not willing to actually say that the game will never come out. Of course, the one of the infamous games that was, I don't know, did StarCraft Ghost ever truly get canceled?
Can you actually be canceled if you never actually announced in the first place?
It was announced.
Was it actually announced?
Uh-huh. It was. So was what was the other Blizzard project? Project Titan, which I think was really like the code for like a StarCraft, World of Warcraft type of thing. So World of StarCraft, I guess.
I remember it actually being official, though. I thought it was always just like a rumor, like it's going to happen someday. It's going to be amazing.
I want to say that at some point that StarCraft Ghost was tentatively announced. Anyways, I mean, what the moral of the story, or I guess the sad end to the story, is there are going to be games out there that it's going to have a bunch of hype behind it. And like I said, if it's like a port of a game, I mean, I am slightly saddened if that port was going to one of my preferred consoles, but at the same time, it's not like that game is 100% dead. Versus games that are maybe brand new, fresh IPs that get canned before they could truly see the light of day, and that's what kind of makes me sad.
Well, think about it. I mean, you see that so much now, like with all the early access games. So it's like with the big developers, you see like an official cancellation, but how many early access games do we see that, they're in early access and then just kind of die, basically?
True.
And they just never quite see the light of day for, whatever reason. So I think it's, it's been happening and it's going to continue to happen. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's the, now that we're in this wonderful age where information comes like instantaneously to us, we learn a lot more about the potential games that could be in the pipeline. And so we also learn a lot more about the games that never get to see the light of day. Whereas, back in the early 2000s or maybe mid 90s, if you weren't subscribed to like the PC gaming magazine or the Nintendo Power or the PlayStation magazine, you wouldn't know about some of the games that are coming out. You only really know about them from like word of mouth, or when you walk into a game store and you're like, ooh, this looks cool.
Yeah, no, there's definitely part of that. And or if you had like advertisements, obviously.
Yeah.
But even then, really only the AAA titles at the time were really doing their advertising.
Right.
That you'd see, whereas now you can see, indies, especially like on Facebook and other platforms, are getting their advertising, which is actually how I found some games I played over the years, is through like indies doing their advertising.
Yeah, that's true. But I where did I pull that list from? I think it was Polygon where I pulled the list from that were talking about games that have already been killed. Gonna be honest with you, none of them were like, oh my god, that sucks. I was so looking forward to that game. There was like one interesting one, like, damn, that would have been interesting to check out, but most of them, like, okay.
Well, so many of them are like, a number of them were basically like the cross-platform port, but it was not actually a port. It was like let's see if we can make a quick buck off of this game.
Yeah, like a slightly dumbed down version.
Yeah, I see that a lot, yeah.
But, this is just the first round. There's going to be so many more games that are going to be canceled, and hopefully the games that I'm looking forward to are not games that are going to be canceled, because if they are, I'm going to get really, really sad.
What games are you looking forward to? That would give
there's a game I need to pull. I think I've got it on my wish list on Steam, so I'm gonna take a quick peek here to make sure that I get the. Well, do I have? Oh yeah, I do have Steam open. Okay, good. Let me see if I got it. I hope I have it on my wish list, because that would make it so much easier instead of trying to fumble around exactly the. Let's see here. Oh man, come on, Charlie.
Come on, you can do it.
I'm trying to scroll as fast. I've got my wish list has gotten just out of hand. So
it just keeps getting longer and longer and longer.
Sacred Fire, a game that I talked about maybe a couple shows ago, that's coming out on the Switch and also on the PC, and it's still to be announced. So that's. When you got a game that's TBA, that's the danger zone.
So like 2025.
Well, it's supposed to come out. It's supposed to come out at the beginning of the year, but we're past the beginning of the year, and they don't have 2023 attached to it now.
Beginning of which year? There are many years to be had.
It was supposed to be 2023. But anyways, so we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. A quick update. I have finally rendered the interview with Dan Schroeder, the author that I interviewed at ChattaCon. I'm just waiting for his confirmation to look at the video and make sure that he likes it, and then I will post it for everyone to enjoy.
Very nice, very nice.
Indeed. I should not have taken me this long, and for that I apologize, but I'm going to get my ass in gear and start pumping some shit out. So, wow, that came out wrong. But anyways.
Yeah, we don't need your ass on this channel.
I don't need to be pumping out shit. Well, I mean, technically every human needs to.
Yeah,
but
no webcams in your bathroom, please.
Let's move on, shall we?
Probably best bet.
All right, so Zealeus brought up that he finally broke down and watched a movie that was based off of a video game IP. And as predicted, because it was made in the good old US of A, it was Hollywoodized out to shit. And literally, correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels like it was almost only in name only.
Like, it was just so bad. Like,
so what movie was it?
Monster Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they spent like the first quarter of the movie was something about the U.S. Army.
It had every freaking movie that has some kind of like video game or nerdy connotation or subject. The U.S. Army's got to be involved. Transformers being like the big one.
I hate it because you have to, like, they wanted a story of how this person came to the Monster Hunter universe, but then there's like these like annoying action scenes of like Jeeps flipping, because sure, let's have Jeeps explode and have all this stuff. And like, I think of Monster Hunter, I think of like big ass swords that they're wielding and slashing. You saw like a grand total of like 3 swipes at monsters the entire fight. The training montage that what is going to come so that Mil Djokovic learns how to fight is like 75% plus into the movie. And like, then Tony Jaa is the guy, and he obviously has chops, but you see him fight like there's certain like monsters that they don't even fight. They like get stuff from them because they got to get the poison to kill the big bad monster, but it's not even like really a fight.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you think of Monster Hunter, and it's like, if you ever play Monster Hunter, like, you know, there are these drawn out fights where you have to have like strategy. Okay, getting poison, sure. But like, you know, you're hacking at it to like, you know, you chop off its leg and then its arm because you got to get these different components. And there's just like none of the actual fighting or monster hunting actually happens. And it's just so, I think of like the original Mortal Kombat, right? And the reason people still like it is it just jumped into fucking Mortal Kombat, right? Yes, you had the origin story. I get it. You had like Hell Planet Earth, but like, boom, straight. Hell, you had the military, but it was straight to the point. It wasn't like spending like half of the movie, like figuring out how to actually get to the action. It's just like, okay, there's the military backstory. Boom, you get to it. Fighting shit happens.
Well, the thing is, like with Mortal Kombat, there is a military person that's in the freaking cast. It's not like,
True.
By the way, let's add the U.S. military because otherwise, I don't think people will truly appreciate this movie. Actually, you know what?
That was the problem with like Monster Hunter. Like, so much of it was devoted to the military part where like, was I watching Black Hawk Down again and I missed the memo? Like, you know, Saving Private Ryan, Black Hawk Down, Band of Brothers. No
Pearl Harbor.
Movies. They're great. But like, why are they in my Monster Hunter movies?
Here's my theory. Here's my theory. The United States military armed forces actually give them like monetary breaks if they include the army in a good light.
Well, okay, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
All but one person from the military dies.
No.
I know. It's just so frustrating. Where it should have been easy to do. Because they obviously had the budget for it. They had big old CGI effects. They had the big old monster. And the worst part of it is the very end of it. It's like 4 of them, because you play Monster Hunter, you can get like a party of 4 to go attack the monster.
Yep.
They get their group with their big swords and their big weapons, and they're going to go attack the monster. Roll the credits.
I'm
like, seriously?
Yay. That's how I want my movie to end.
Like, seriously? Like, what should have been like the penultimate like fight scene? Roll the credits. Like, did they actually do like test audiences with people who actually watch or play the video game?
Probably not.
I know the answer is no, but the problem is, okay, I get it. You want to get a wider audience. Sure, whatever. But if it's a bad movie, it doesn't really help. Like, that's the problem. It just wasn't a good movie. Even all the Monster Hunter chicanery aside, and well, lack of Monster Hunter, I should say.
Right.
It just wasn't really that good of a movie. Like, it didn't know what it wanted to be. It spent like a third of the movie being like a military movie. It spent a third of the movie with like people who don't speak the same language learning to communicate with each other. And then the last third was like we guess she should learn how to fight monsters, which she barely even does. How shatastic Monster Hunter the movie is, and how it's just an abomination of which should not have Anderson directed the movie. He's directed the Resident Evil movies with, of course, Mila Jokovich's wife doing it. So it's showing that he can actually do, like, the Resident Evil movies are enjoyable. And they're about Resident Evil. And you get to the plot. So it's shown that they can do video game adaptations. This one was just terrible.
But here's the thing. Once again, in the Resident Evil, there is a military component to it. And so when we get that military presence, it's not unexpected. When you're playing, a fantasy game set in a world where, you're basically, in order to make a living, you have to destroy these humongous monsters with these humongous weapons and turn in their skin and teeth and all that stuff. That has nothing to do with the United States military.
True, and I agree. But the problem is even like following the Monster Hunter story, which was about, okay, there's not a Monster Hunter story. I totally get that.
You make your own
but
story.
Even following Monster Hunter video game, outside of that, it just was not a good movie.
Right.
Even if it was just Monster Hunter and the franchise didn't exist, you just had a movie about hunting monsters, it just wasn't good. That's the problem. Like, it just was not very interesting. Like, yeah. Yeah. That's the whole thing. Yeah. And the Monster Hunter games, not bad. I played them. I played Monster Hunter the games and the free-to-play one, I forget what it's called. There's like a free-to-play online.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's obviously a competitor. I can't remember what it's called. But I played that too, and they're fun.
Yeah.
I'm terrible at them. Once you actually have to start having strategy and not just being balls to the wall, I stop playing. But they're not bad.
No, I got one like on heavy discount on the Switch, and I didn't actually get to play it. My eldest son played a little bit of it, and he seemed. I mean, he played the game like Zealeus, where it's like, oh, dialogue, skip. Where's the action? Skip. Okay, let's kill some bad guys.
Well, you're not playing Monster Hunter for the storyline, to be fair.
I know, but
I mean, that is not a storyline type of.
No,
game.
but it may behoove you to at least read the conversation or the dialogue that's basically setting up all your buttons.
Well, okay, that's a fair point. Yes.
My son was like, I don't care.
How do you strategy? Yes.
Yeah, no.
That's true. I agree.
But anyways. But yeah, it's Hollywood has a terrible track record of just screwing with IPs they don't understand.
Because like I was excited. I was like, sweet, I'm gonna get to see Mila Djokovic and Tony Jaa go fuck up some monsters.
Mm-hmm.
No. It's just,
no.
No. There's even like a lack of like cool monster deaths.
Yeah. I mean I'm trying to remember, I think it's on Crunchyroll. Yeah, I think it's Crunchyroll. There's like a Monster Hunter like offshoot where it's these, they don't actually hunt the monsters, they train them.
Pokemon?
No. It's set in the Monster Hunter world. Monster Hunter, it's like Monster Hunter Riders or something like that. Where they battle like, they still battle like evil monsters, but they also ride on the monsters. They make them pets. See that? Huh. Not bad. You know, it's not exactly what's the video, you know, the video games, but still it's still in the realm of possibility.
It sounds like there's more monster hunting and monster fighting than the movie.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. I mean, I think we watched 4 episodes, and there was at least 2 of the episodes were dominated by having to kill monsters that were under the influence of some kind of dark power.
Sounds reasonable.
So let's see here. That was let's say roughly each episode is 21 minutes. So in 82 minutes, there were 2 massive fights that probably spanned about, I don't know, a sixth of those 82 minutes. And then they also had a lot of like story development and all that stuff to add to it. So, you know, there you go. And I believe we lost Zealeus again. Oh, there he is.
Am I still here?
Yeah, you're still here. I think Zealeus, you just need to like move a little bit more or something, because it's really hard. You go stock still from time to time, like, oh crap. I'm gonna just keep talking and hope that he, you know, blinks or something. God dang.
Did I disconnect this time or did I just freeze?
So, but yeah.
My face is freezing.
Okay, so there was some news that came out either today or yesterday, which is really interesting. First of all, Zealeus, have you ever seen Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse?
I have not.
Okay.
I've heard it's good.
It's a phenomenal movie, and basically the gist of it is that something happens that basically pulls in different variations of Spider-Man into one reality. So you have Um, there's a it's called Spider Ham, which is a pig. That's basically Spider-Man. You have Gwen Stacy as Spider-Man. Then you have like your normal Peter Parker. There's Miles Morales, which is that's the one that it's centered around. There was also kind of like this anime like mech type spider creation, and then there's also one called Spider-Man Noir, which was voiced by Nicolas Cage, and it was it was basically if you put Spider-Man in kind of like the gritty old school detective kind of universe. So he's got the detective hat with the trench coat and
So Dick Tracy?
kind of like Dick Tracy, but only in black and white, and he still has some Spider-Man powers. Like he can still web sling and stuff, but it's more you dirty rotten scoundrels, I gotta clean the streets type of environment. Well, anywho, they've just announced that there's going to be a Spider-Man Noir TV show, and that's going to be live action, which I'm not exactly sure how that's going to go, but it's interesting.
What service is it on, or is it supposed to be on?
I don't know. I was trying to figure that out before the I was trying to figure out exactly where, and it really doesn't. The announcement really doesn't outline it. However, it looks like maybe. Oh wait! Here it is. It's gonna be on Amazon Prime. It's rain slick streets of 1930s New York.
Of course, the question is always for me now, when you have a new series on any streaming service, do I even bother to watch season 1 or 2?
Touche. And the answer to that is I don't know. I guess to each their own.
Is the journey matter more than the destination?
I will admit that there's definitely a couple series that have been doing the what do you call it? They don't drop them all at the same time. They stagger the releases, and I've fallen enough behind where I could finally binge watch Chainsaw Man and the new Trigun Stampede, and what's the other one that I need to catch up on? Damn it.
Have you watched season 2 of Rector or Ragnarok?
No, I need to watch that one. Oh, and then also need to watch the Vox Machina. See, and that's Clark in the audience goes, the last Vox Machina is coming out tonight, and I think I watched the first 2 episodes, and I kind of want to go back and rewatch the first season because I feel like I forgot something between now and when I finished the series the first time, or finished season 1, which I might have to do for
like a magic recap somewhere.
I don't think so. But I might have to do that with Legend of Ragnarok as well, because I remember parts of it, but
remember, gods and humans fight each other and big crazy things.
No, I know, and I know that some of the selected not god people are like biblical characters.
Adam. Yep.
Which was weird.
Yes.
But
it's a fun show though. I enjoy it.
Oh yeah, no, it's a great show. I have now finally accomplished my goal of catching 100% up on the show Archer.
Oh.
I of course have caught up all the way on Rick and Morty as well.
You need like a little achievement unlocked button for this.
I know. I just have a screen in the back that just shows my accomplishments, like in Steam.
We could have like for each show like this week's accomplishments.
Yep. It's like, this is what Charlie did. No, I think I'd be like, God damn, did I really watch that much this week? All right.
It's impressive, man.
Yeah,
should be proud of your accomplishments, however shallow they may be.
Oh boy. Yeah. So, anyways, there's going to be, rolling back onto topic, there is going to be a live action Spider-Man Noir that's going to be on Amazon Prime. They, of course, they just announced it, so God only knows when that will actually happen. And since they're going to do live action, be very interesting to see how they cast it. And also, is it going to be black and white? Because that's the styling.
Questions.
That's the style. I mean, that's really what Spider-Man Noir, which, by the way, Noir is French for black. It'd be really weird if it was in full color. Really weird.
By the way, I know we talked about this a while ago.
Yeah.
But you're correct. Blizzard in 2002 actually did have an official press release for StarCraft Ghost.
Yeah, knew it.
Where that was supposed to bringing the legendary franchise to consoles was the intent of it.
Aha.
So, yeah, I was like, it does exist.
I knew it. I knew it. So, since we're on the topic of TV series and streamed TV series, recently Netflix came out and said they have never canceled a successful TV show. And to that, I call
piss me off tonight with the stories.
Shenanigans. Zealeus, let's hear your feelings.
So the two shows that I watch that have been canceled, one is Warrior Nun, and then the other is, oh my gosh, I can picture it in my head.
Wick Saga?
Yes. Yeah. So those two were canceled. They're fun. And yeah. It's just pissing because they were like unique, interesting shows. Like I could watch NCIS and CSIs and they're all kind of the same after a while.
Mm-hmm.
But you only get so many unique type of like fantasy type of shows or sci-fi for that matter. So anytime those kind of shows are canceled, it makes me a little bit sad because there's just not a whole lot like theirs. So yeah, I'm kind of sad about that. I'm not surprised, unfortunately. I know that Warrior Nun was on the fence for season 2 already. So that was not surprising, but I thought actually the Wink Saga would have been more popular.
Mm-hmm.
Because apparently it was not successful and therefore is canceled.
See, I think the problem is, what is your definition of successful? Because as many of us know, there was a series that literally blew everyone's mind, Sandman, and it took forever, in my mind, was successful right out of the gate. Like, oh my God, they've got to make more. And Netflix is like, well, I don't know. Because the fact of the matter is that even though it stayed in like the top 10 for a long time, it's a very expensive show. So I understand that. So the question is, how the hell does you factor that in? Like, how do you determine the success of the, I'm guessing like per views, but at the same time, like there's got to be a different set of per views for a more expensive show.
The problem you're going to start running into now is self-fulfilling prophecies,
mm-hmm.
and that Netflix, they've been doing this for a while. It's not like it just started with these shows.
Yeah.
For a while now, they've been canceling or being close to canceling shows after 1 or 2 seasons. And so inevitably viewers are going to be like, well, let's just say, a new, I don't know, Witchblade. I'm just making something up. Witchblade, the comic series, comes to live action.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, maybe I'll watch season, but you know what? I'm going to wait to see if it's canceled before I watch it because I don't want to invest my time into just one season. Netflix sees that and they cancel it because people aren't watching it. So the problem is if they start canceling all the shows, people are going to be less inclined to watch the new shows. Or like Clark said, people don't watch the new shows because they know they won't stick around. And I 100% agree. And that's the other thing it does is when new shows that are on Netflix that I've enjoyed, like Warrior Nun and Wing Saga, when they become canceled, like, why do I even have a Netflix subscription now?
Right.
Like, if they're going to be canceling the shows I enjoy, well, then I might as well kind of probably cancel my subscription. And, 6 months from now, I'll pick it up again and watch like the 3 shows they actually still make, cancel it again. And like The Last Kingdom, that was another show I watched all of. That wasn't canceled, at least made to the last season.
Yeah.
So some of these shows where I'm like, well, if they're not even making shows I really got invested in on Netflix, what's kind of the point? It's kind of where I'm getting at now with Netflix. And maybe I pick up, the Hulu or the Crunchyroll that I don't have. And I know people do it where they kind of flip-flop back and forth.
Right. Well, I mean, for Crunchyroll, they've got the simulcast seasons that you could jump on, watch or catch up on whatever they're simultaneously streaming and showing off in Japan. And you can just cancel it and wait for the next season to come out and then rinse and repeat.
Yep.
I totally understand. And yes, you're absolutely right. We're now at a time where even if it looks like a cool idea, does not mean that it's going to succeed. And a lot of the shows, be for better or for worse, don't get to see that second season, or they get to see the second season, and because people really haven't got into the first season, like the retention rate is, you don't get that influx of new viewers. You have the people who actually, I guess, chanced it to watch the first season, and then, maybe you convince, each viewer convinces like one other friend to watch it. That's still not enough of a viewer increase to warrant a third season.
Yeah. So it's, yeah.
It is what it is. It's sad, but at the same time, it's reality. It's just like video games. I mean, there's some amazing video games that blow people's minds, but because either bad advertisement or maybe there's no replay value, you don't get as many eyes on it, and so it kind of flies under the radar or gets canned. It took forever to get a second Beyond Good and Evil. Even Beyond Good and Evil is freaking amazing, but it wasn't a critical success. It took a lot
Sorry they didn't make a Madden franchise out of it.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Or Call of Duty.
Or Battlefield.
Now,
of course, I blame FIFA.
Yep, FIFA would count. It comes out all the time.
Yeah, so... Legend of Dragoon. Ooh. Yeah, there's another game that didn't get as much love as they should have. Actually, yeah, there's a lot of games that didn't get as much love as they should have. But such is... Well, I think nowadays, because we're on we're on a digital distribution platform, I think there's a better chance of games. The unfortunate thing is that games cost more to make now, but there's a better chance for some of those hidden gems to actually see a sequel. Whereas, back in the early 2000s, the real, I guess, kick in the nuts or last nail in the coffin for a lot of these games was the fact that the vast majority of the time that this game was being played as a used game. And so those statistics are not going towards the publisher or developer. So the amount of games sold is much, much smaller than the actual playing base. So, but as I've stated very, very many times, I'm very happy about digital distribution systems. But at the same time, it has allowed such a crazy-ass influx of shovelware, it's not even funny.
I think the trade-off is worth it. I think I'd rather have the opportunity. I mean, think of all the games we played, especially on Steam, that are the indie games.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
That, 10, 20 years ago, we would not have got some of these really cool games that we played. So I think, to me, it's a fair, I will take that trade-off.
Oh, so will I.
At least now I have the opportunity to play games I would not have otherwise got to have played.
Also, a nice benefit is that you didn't have to drive to the brick and mortar store because digital distribution. So literally, all you got to do is log into Steam or log on to your console, and you could purchase the game there. You didn't have to worry about driving to the store and then they're being sold out of copies.
Well, as somebody who's the bargain bin shopper, that was never really an issue for me.
Oh, yeah, well, true. Okay, touche.
I mean, but at the same time, I do kind of miss the physical store at times. Like, there was something about seeing, the rows of games and like the box art and the physical nature of it. It's not a day that I need to come back. It's not coming back. I'm happy with that. But, there is a little bit of that I do miss.
Well, I'll fully admit that I feel you on that one. There was a time when I was at Full Sail where me and my buddies would play a game called Empty Out Your Change Trays in your car, and we'd count up the money, and then we would find a bargain bin game that cost that much, and we'd buy it, and then we would attempt to play it.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, I feel you on that one.
Yeah. But, by the same token, it's also nice to be able to go on Steam and look at the, sales and the ratings and all these other criteria and facts you didn't have 20 years ago.
True.
So there's also that trade-off.
True. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to pause real quick to do the shout-outs of these wonderful, amazing individuals who help Alter Confusion be Alter Confusion. And that, of course, is the friends of the show. So without further ado, let us start it off the way we always do. And that, of course, is the Indie Cluster. The Indie Cluster is an organization of independent game developers that want to gain exposure by being involved in the community. They collectively journey to popular conferences as a traveling booth to help gain attention for their games. They make partnerships in local communities to bring games to the mainstream mindset. They highlight local, unusual, and rare concepts to challenge the paradigm of the common. They also host events to teach kids and minority groups about game development to hopefully one day enter the industry themselves. For more information, go to indiecluster.com. Now, of course, the next shout-out we've got to give is to the one and only Noodle Boy Media. Founded in 2015 by Andrew Tran, Noodle Boy Media, previously Whack Kid 47 Media, is your choice for professional photo shoots and panel recordings at conventions. They pride themselves in providing a high level of professionalism, top-notch experiences, and quality services. If you want more information and to view their full list of services, check out facebook.com/noodleboymedia today. The next one is especially beneficial to anyone who lives in the greater Atlanta area and is a gamer who maybe gets some aches in their back and their whole body because of the amazing amount of gaming you put in, and that, of course, is Hero Chiropractic. Hero Chiropractic is a unique healthcare practice set up by Ryan Moore. The company's focus to elevate a patient's experience of freedom, creative expression, and joy. They believe that everyone can be a hero and has incredible heroic potential inside themselves waiting to be unleashed. Hero Chiropractic focuses on mobile chiropractic care in the greater Atlanta area. They are committed to healing clients by creating a plan of action uniquely suited for each person. They make that plan of action as convenient and affordable as possible, and most importantly, suited to your individual needs. For more information, go to herochiropractic.com. Now, the next shout out we got to give is to the maestro himself. That, of course, is CrossPad Creative. Need a new logo or want to work on a full branding and content strategy? Or maybe you need music or audio for your content, just like Alter Confusion. CrossPad Creative offers a whole host of solutions for individuals and small businesses. Just email Josh at crosspadcreative@gmail.com and see what he can do for you. Now, the final shout out we got to give is to the OG, the first one who truly became a friend of the show, and that, of course, is Agile Axiom. By day, Axe leads both the development team and system administration team working with satellites at NASA's Goddard campus. But while not in meetings, and many times during, he is the Agile evangelist Agile Axe. championing the philosophy of Agile and trying to make the world a better place for software developers, testers, system admins, and software projects the world over. Decades of experience in software development and leading Agile teams are brought to bear against evil processes, inefficient work, and bad habits. For more information, go to agileaxiom.com. And if you need a little bit more of an incentive, not only has Axe got this website, but he's also got this phenomenal book called Is That Agile? Common Processes for Development Teams that you can get at Amazon today. Now, I know that all of you are just dying to know, well, I want to be a friend of the show. How do I become a friend of the show? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to tell you that Alter Confusion survives on the love and support of people like you, and that is why we have a Patreon page. Patreon allows you, the lovers, the haters, the supporters, the zombies, the demigods, the gods, the vampires, the dinosaurs, and so much more to become active participants in the stuff that we love. Ladies and gentlemen, Alter Confusion has two different tiers that you can apply to. There is the $1 a month tier. That's $1 a month or $12 a year tier. And what that will get you is early access to all of our playthroughs, as well as Patreon-only posts to help shape the future of Alter Confusion. Now, if you're feeling a little bit frisky, you could go up to the $5 a month tier. That's $5 a month or $60 a year. And not only will that get you everything at the $1 tier, but they will also gain you a shout out for your name or organization every single Thursday night hangout. So if you want to become a patron of Alter Confusion, go to Patreon. That's patreon.com/altered confusion. And I have to say that I'm pretty freaking impressed with myself because I couldn't actually find my script for Patreon, so I had to basically pull that out of my booty.
Look at you and your mental fortitude, sir.
I know. I am so impressed with myself.
You too have a brain.
Ha! Surprise! It works. Okay, so oh shoot, I just lost the other topic. Hold on. Oh my gosh. Damn it. Now I'm pissed because I just lost the other topic I had. Zealeus, why don't you talk for a second while I try to pull back this topic that I accidentally closed.
So I actually started playing a game that you may be interested in. Called V Rising.
Oh,
it's a isometric RPG, and the idea is it's a survival craft building style.
Mm-hmm.
So you have the RPG elements where you gotta go and fight things, level up the beginning, and then you also build your vampire castle. But the deal is, which could actually make it interesting if you ever want to team up, is you can play single player, you can create private servers, or you can play in private public servers. Meaning, like, you can fully play single player, or you can create like a server to play with your friends. And so if they ever join up, it just kind of continues where it left off.
Interesting.
It's a very interesting game. I think it's worth for you to check out. Just saying.
Clark asked if we've played Hogwarts Legacy, and the quick answer is no, we have not. One is... for me personally, I want to wait and see what everyone thinks before I jump in. It seems like an interesting idea, and Zealeus and I have talked about this several times. We are not going to. Oh, Clark says it's surprisingly good. Well, there you go. We are. Here's the thing that people need to understand. By buying Hogwarts Legacy, yes, of course, J.K. Rowling is going to get some of the royalties because she created Harry Potter. But the vast majority of that money is going to go towards the developers and the publishers of the game, who do not, hopefully, fingers crossed, share the same views as J.K. Rowling's. So I understand that, there are individuals out there who are very much against J.K. Rowling's and her views. That's cool. But I do not want to penalize individuals who just made a game.
I think at this point, most people are kind of cool with that in a way. I mean, it's on Twitch. It's no surprise. It's the #1 viewed game right now.
However, you're on the, I think it's the Reddit thread. You're not
Yeah,
allowed to talk about J.K. Rowling, which is
I
weird.
did see that, which I totally get,
Yeah,
honestly, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to talk about the game. And it would just become an endless cesspool of back and forth. And like C. Clark said, I guess that's a redundancy. Everything I've heard about it, it's a solid RPG. Like, even if you take the nostalgia of Harry Potter out, everything I've read is it's actually just a solid game. So based on that, it is definitely 100% on my radar to actually look into. Potentially after I get my playthrough of V Rising, we'll see what happens. Because I'm also guessing based on the popularity of the game, it's not exactly a game that's going to come down like in price anytime soon. So
right.
I'm going to guess it's going to be at that $60 value point for, quite some time. The big question for me would be PC or PlayStation 5 version.
Mm-hmm.
It's always a tough decision in life. I'm always curious if there will be any mods for the PC that would make it a little bit more of an interesting proposition, because it is single player. So go all in with mods at that point.
Yeah.
And that's what made Skyrim so popular, or helped Skyrim to be so popular, was the mod universe. So I'm kind of curious of what will happen with the mods on it.
Clark says he's heard some poor optimization on PC, which is, once again, is one of the reasons to kind of hold back and wait for things to get ironed out.
Yeah, it seems like most games are optimized most for the consoles first, and then think, oh yeah, we should probably sell it on the PC Steam store also.
Well, I mean, the thing is that this is one of the benefits of having a console, is that the developer knows exactly what the statistics and specs are going to be when it comes to a console. Whereas as PC, you've got different video cards, you've got a different amount of RAM and CPU, and there's like all these other variables that could change depending on the user.
Yep.
And I know for a fact that there are certain games that render better with an NVIDIA card versus an AMD card, and vice versa. And some games are absolutely unplayable if you have the wrong video card, even if it's like uber powerful.
Well, that's just dumb.
It is dumb. But the fun fact, when you create a game, if you ever create a game, make sure that you test the game on different types of video cards, because, oh my God, not everyone has that AMD card.
Wait, why would I test it? If it works on AMD, it's going to work on NVIDIA, right? Isn't that just how it works?
No, that's not how it works. And I'm trying to remember, there was, this was maybe, I don't know, 7-10 years, maybe about 7 years ago. There was a game, I can't remember if the developer only did it on AMD or only on NVIDIA, but like the game played amazing on one of them, and it was just like absolute crap in a clogged toilet with the other video card. I mean, the frame rate was like 3.
That's kind of dumb.
Yes. I mean, I could jump a little bit further down the rabbit hole for more like developer type individuals with like the different types of software, but I will stop myself, because it's probably not the right audience to go in depth with that. But there are different rendering systems that if you're not careful and your program doesn't check for it, it will cause all kinds of weird ass issues.
Well, video games and online stuff and weird ass issues, they're just meant to be.
At this point, yeah. I mean, you got to expect there's going to be weird ass issues, because we live in a world where things can be patched at the drop of the hat. Hopefully, those patches get tested, but we have seen that that's not always the case either.
Touche. You just never know, man. But yeah, it's that is definitely the game that is on my mind.
Yeah.
The other, surprisingly,
Mhm.
because everything I've heard is actually will not be shit-tastic, is Diablo 4.
I'm going to hold off on that.
No, I'm holding. I'm holding.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm going to be like day one, but basically everything I've seen about it is it's like the anti-Diablo Immortal, which Diablo Immortal sucked. It's not very good. Tried it.
How's it? My question, I did play a little bit of Diablo Immortal, but my question is, how does it compare to Diablo 3? Am I going to have the same aches and pains as the third one on the fourth? That's my question, damn it.
That is a good question, sir. Again, like most games, launch kind of sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially when you have online gameplay. That's definitely the big thing.
Yeah, that makes or breaks more games than people like to admit.
Oh yeah, no, I totally get it. So it is a good question.
Yeah,
but it's on my horizon. But I'm definitely waiting for reviews, especially because it's still a full price. Like that obviously always makes a difference.
Absolutely. Speaking of pricing, there is a rumor out there that the next Breath of the Wild or Breath of the Wild 2 is going to have the starting price point of $69.99.
I saw, isn't that like the first like full $70 game on the Switch?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be totally honest with you. If it's anything like the first Breath of the Wild, it's probably going to be worth the $70, and that's not going to stop anyone from playing the game because Zelda is so much more hit than miss. But maybe that's just me.
I mean, it is interesting how, you think about the PC gaming marketplace, or not just PC, but games in general, and they have held pretty standard to that $60 new game rate, even with inflation and increased cost of production and everything else that's gone on. So it sucks, but $70 was going to come eventually.
They are at just on top of the price point. They are saying for Switch owners out there who are going to get this digitally, it is going to be 18.2 gigs, which I know doesn't seem like that much for like the consoles or some of the PC games out there, but that's the biggest. That's the largest file for any first-party game on the Switch.
Yeah, I downloaded it the other day. I played it for like 10 minutes, got bored. ESO Online. And that was like 110 gigabytes. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then I was like, wow, I forgot the combat in this game is really boring.
Well, it's like The Witcher 3 on Steam is... let me make sure that I get this right here. Let's see, Witcher 3. That's 57, almost 58 gigs. So yeah, so most platforms are like, 18, that's nothing. But the Switch, that's a really big size.
That's basically your entire you have to use a expansion card.
Oh God, yes, yeah. Unless you take everything off of your Switch.
I don't think it's or just get the cartridge version would probably be easiest, honestly.
Yes, yeah, because that would, yeah.
That's what I had for the original Breath of the Wild. I had the cartridge version.
That's what I have as well. Yeah, yeah. It's interesting when it comes to the Switch. There is a reason to buy the physical copy, and that is that some of these games are just gigantic on the limited space you have on your Switch. And so you're better off with getting the cartridge. Yes. Is it a pain in the ass to switch between games because you have to remove the cartridge, which is itty bitty? and then trying to keep track of the shit is is annoying. But at the same time, it takes a lot less space. So, yeah. What I feel like there was a game on the Switch that you actually were kind of cloud computing, where the whole game wasn't on the system. I want to say it was like a Sonic game for some reason.
Kingdom Hearts was cloud only.
Oh, that's it. Kingdom Hearts. That's right.
And I did not play it, but apparently it was a not great experience.
I bet it wasn't. That seems like a really stupid idea.
Maybe they should just leverage the Stadia.
Possibly, but look, here's the thing. When you think cloud computing, you're thinking, like on the console, you're thinking Sony or Nintendo. Sorry, Sony or Microsoft. I apologize, but Nintendo still has a problem with online heavy stuff. No,
they're the worst.
Yeah,
they are, when it comes to online, they're just the worst.
The only time that online really works is like in a Mario Kart game or something. Yeah, yes, Mario Kart can be. I mean, Mario Kart. It's a set track. Okay, it's a lot easier to track than say like an open world experience. Even if it is a single player open world experience, trying to pull all the information up and down.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you have the ISPs who love to just stomp you in the nuts over and over and over again.
It's the ransom payments that have the internet, sir.
Yep.
We must pay the toll.
And what a mighty toll it is. But anyways, so Zealeus, you that V Rising, I'm assuming it's gone gold now, right? It's not still in, or is it still in early access?
It's still in early access. It's been an early. I mean, it's been in a good state to play for quite some time.
Yeah, no, I've heard good things about it, but it's very rare for me to jump into an early access game, unless it's got that big of a hype and maybe I'm bored.
From what I played so far, it's pretty freaking polished.
Yeah.
And I like that. So there's other games like it, like for instance, like was it Ark, the dinosaur game?
Yep, Ark.
Where like same type of concept where it's like, kind of big area, you have to build your own castle and like gather resources.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all those games, like you're playing with a group of people who are going to screw you over. And that's one of the reasons when I was looking into V Rising is especially like the first time you play it, you're basically playing on your own private server on your computer.
Yeah.
And so you can learn the ropes. And I can figure out like, okay, like how do I actually play the game? And for a single player experience, it's a fine experience.
Mm-hmm.
And they do have like, it's like the old school GameSpy version where basically it's not like playing, World of Warcraft where you connect to the Blizzard server. You basically connect to like sponsored servers of V Rising. Mm-hmm. And so they mean between like 4 and 20 players. It could be more, I guess, depending on the server, but it's that type of old school network where it's like you're connecting to these old like individual servers, and they can either be PvE or PvP.
Interesting.
So if you connect to a PvE server, the other like vampires can't attack you, but you can still like work together and stuff.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm still playing through Lost and Random.
That is on my queue too, based on how you've talked about it.
I feel like I'm getting close to the end, and I'm getting really excited because I feel like I'm getting close to the end. But I'm still digging the story. I'm having trouble trying to get like the perfect deck. Because unfortunately some of the battles are being, because of the cards I have, they're being drawn out because there are certain when you get later in the game, there are certain enemies that you cannot touch. You have to range attack them. Or
you have to what?
Attack him from range.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so there's quite a few things that you can do. There's like you can set a bomb and have it explode on them. That's fine. Or if you've got the bow and arrow, you can shoot them from there. But it's just a pain in the butt when you're trying to dodge everybody else and you're having to just keep this guy at arm's length because he's basically radiating like evil electric energy. And if you even technically you could hit him a little bit, but just hitting him is going to shock you and cause you damage. So, yeah. But I still love the story. The characters are really weird, but in a good way. So, yeah. Can't complain. Zealeus, do you have any other stuff? I feel like I had something else, but I can't remember what it is now, so I'll just have to hold off.
Yeah, I did. Like I said, I tried playing ESO again, just to be like, hey, you know what? I played this game once upon a time, and like maybe I've been spoiled by like other actiony RPG, even games or MMOs, whatever. But like just the Morrowind, which is a Morrowind MMO, so it makes sense,
right?
But especially melee combat just feels sluggish. Like it's just not impactful. The mage isn't bad. Like the mage, like if I could like fight lightning bolts, that's not the worst. But like the melee is just kind of like meh. So that's interesting. So that is one of the things I like about V-Rising is the combat is impactful and you actually have to like think about your combat. Like I died to the second boss like 4 times.
Damn.
So you really kind of have to think about like, okay, how am I going to actually, encounter this fight? You just can't run in, Diablo style hacking and slashing and just win until you up the difficulty.
Right.
It's definitely, you definitely have to think about, okay, what am I going to do in this game? But kind of like in a Dark Souls way, you can learn what to do and then defeat those bosses. Like, okay, I've done this a couple times. What am I going to do not to screw it up this time? One mechanic I get it, is, of course, vampires don't like sunlight. And, of course, there's 24 hours in a day. So there's about a third of the day where there's sunlight out. Or if you stand in the sun, it hurts you. And if you do it too long, you'll die. Although I did just get a piece of equipment which helps block the sun. So I'm like, that's nice to have.
Suntan lotion. SP2000.
Yeah, there's a lot of shading. So like if you're running and you see like the sun's coming from the east and you start burning up, you get into the shadow of the tree. It like resets like an internal timer for when you're going to start burning up again.
Gotcha.
There are ways around it. So it's not like you just can't do anything for 8 hours of the day.
Right.
But yeah, it's a very well thought out game.
I hear you, man. I hear you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we've reached the end. Before I go, one of the other beautiful things about Lost and Random is the fact that after you're done with your battle, your HP does go back to full. So even if you're on death's doorstep, once you kill that final enemy in that instant, you're back to full health. So do you think it's because it's not a roguelike?
Yeah. It's because like that's the whole point of a roguelite.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Is that you're going to die so they don't reset your hit points.
Yep. It's like Dead Cells. I mean, Dead Cells is that rogue-like game where you just try to go as far as you can. Or what's the other game? Rogue Legacy. Where you're just trying to go as far as you can, but you're going to sustain damage. And at some point, you're going to finally fall over and die. And then in Rogue Legacy, your descendant will basically somehow magically get your items that you died wearing. And then you will get some kind of enhancement or whatever. And then, rinse and repeat.
Yep.
So anyways, all right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we've reached the end of our show. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning into the Ultra Confusion Thursday Hangout. For myself, Charlie, and Zealeus, it's been a pleasure giving you everything coming out of our heads, our mouths, and of course, our hearts. We'll be back next Thursday for another Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout.
Remember, kids, keep on gaming in the free world.
Amen to that, brother.